Today we're checking out our favorite Toyotas perfect for the family, starting with...
Hi, I'm Randy at Kentville Toyota, and today we're going to try something a little different. We're going to be on the road, we're going to be outside, and we're going electric. So let's have a look. So today we're going to really change things up. We're going to do a little road trip in our new 2025 Toyota BZ4X. So the BZ4X is new to us here at Kentville Toyota and to Toyota in general, Canada-wide, with the exception of Quebec and British Columbia, where this vehicle has been available for a couple of years, with just getting introduced to the rest of the country. So as a 2025 model, this particular trim level is an XLE Premium, so all-wheel drive, largest battery you can get in this vehicle, and it is a full electric. So do a quick walk around, show a little bit of the exterior. Now, the staff here at Kentville Toyota has been using this car daily and driving it, so it's not in the normal pristine condition. We'd like to sell you a new car, or pardon me, show you a new car, but rear wheel conditions do apply and your cars do get dirty. So let's start up here at the front. With this being a Toyota product, you're not going to experience what a lot of people call a frunk or the front trunk. This is the hood on a Toyota because it's not a spaceship. I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna show you our electric drivetrain. The electric drivetrain on this vehicle, unless you know exactly what you're looking at, this is the electric drive. This is not a gasoline engine. So some of the common components that customers are used to seeing, obviously your windshield washer fluid, your expansion tank for the cooling, because there are a couple of cooling systems in here that cool the inverters and keep the engines cool, and the 12-volt battery that activates the whole system and makes the car work. But aside from that, that's the only thing on this Toyota that is similar to our regular offering. So this is the electric drivetrain, and you do not get front storage in this Toyota. So yeah, pretty straightforward, all high voltage stuff that I really don't know much about, except it's a lot of fun to drive. So let's go complete the walk around on the vehicle and have a look a little further down the line. So here we are at the back of the 2025 BZ4X. So let's start with this hieroglyphic. So BZ, Toyota's naming is Beyond Zero, meaning zero emissions vehicle. 4X means it's an all-wheel drive SUV. So for 2026, the vehicles that we'll actively be able to sell you later this year, so probably starting September, October, is just called the BZ or BZ in Canada, whatever you want to call it. I prefer BZ. So it is a battery electric vehicle. So Toyota's naming is BEV, battery electric vehicle, pretty self-explanatory. This one is all-wheel drive, and it does come with the regular power hatch, much like all the other Toyota product. And as we've talked about in the past, this particular vehicle gets the close and the close and lock feature that we've adopted in most of our product for 2025. So as you can see from here, pretty reasonable cargo space in this vehicle. Obviously the staff is using it and somebody forgot their sports equipment in here, but that's okay. That's the way we're going to use this car. On this vehicle, lots of trunk space under the floor. But this vehicle does not actually come with a spare tire. It has a repair kit that's in one of these side panels. So tonneau cover comes back to cover everything up, but overall good usable space and a nice high floor height in this vehicle. It is a little higher than it is in some of our product, but that's the standard configuration for this car. So let's close that up and come around to this side. So as you can see, no conventional gas door because there's no need. So we do have an 18-inch alloy on this vehicle. These are a heavier tire than a lot of our passenger vehicles will have. In all electric vehicles, that is the minor difference that you see in our vehicles today, is that the electrics, because they're heavier and because this vehicle is either generating torque, forward motion, or it's giving resistance to charge the battery. So the tires do need to be of a certain specification. It's not a horrible premium over what it would be on a RAV4 or a Venza or something like that, but you do need to make sure you've got the proper tires for an electric vehicle. Maybe a couple $100 premium to go to the tires for a replacement on this vehicle, so it's nothing extreme. As far as the back goes, good usable space. The doorway here is actually very similar to the RAV4. It's a little lower in the roof line, but it's a little wider. So great to get in and out of. And what we'll do is we'll do a full inside runaround once we get down the side of the vehicle. So here on the 2025 BZ, with the painted exterior, you get the matte finished plastic surrounds. With the 26s that are coming, you'll be able to get both color match depending on the exterior color of the vehicle, and you'll also get the black. So just be able to mix it up on the exterior finishes a little bit. Everything else is traditionally Toyota. There's nothing really unusual about this vehicle until you get here. This is the charge port. In this current generation, this is an old school charger that works specifically on charge point. It's very specific hardware. And on this vehicle, like with most of our electric vehicles, you need to have the key fob in hand, unlock the vehicle before you can unplug this. So this vehicle actually, because we don't have a charging station here at Kentville Toyota yet, it will be installed in a few weeks' time. We are literally charging this on a 110 volt cable. Whoops, I have to close the cover. There's two covers on this one. Close it, it latches, all good to go. And generally we throw this in the back of the vehicle so that it stays with you and stays with your car. So if you take this home, and a lot of the staff have, if you are really depleted, and I took this vehicle for a drive a few weeks ago, I brought it home, it told me it had 14 kilometers range left. I plugged it into my garage, got up the next morning, drove away 9.5 hours later, and I had a range of a little over 100 kilometers overnight on a 110 volt cord. That's not the intention with our battery electric vehicles. You really should have a level 2 charger, which is not a great investment. But even on a level 1 that we're forced to use here, the charge times are not unreasonable considering most of us live fairly close to work and wherever we're going. So not a big inconvenience at this point, even though we're really not doing a good job of it. Here we are, we're in the BZ. And the first thing I have to do so you don't see me sweat too much is turn on the air conditioning. And it's currently showing we've got 233 kilometers of range and 69% battery charge, which is fantastic. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on the air conditioning on high, and immediately it shows me that my range went from 233, we went from 233 to 214. So the electrical demands that you put on this vehicle really do dictate how much range you have. So there's all kinds of ways to cheat the system and get better fuel efficiency or better energy efficiency out of this car. One of them is the climate control. Obviously my heated seat is off, my heated steering wheel is off. I am sweating profusely right now, so there's obviously no need to turn the heat on. Now the air conditioning is on, and I've actually dropped the range. Just now we're showing 214. So yeah, we're going to have a look. Put this because it does not have a conventional shifter like our Prius normally had or our regular other gas-powered vehicles. So on this one, you basically push the knob down and put it in drive. So we're in drive mode now. Now, a neat feature on this particular vehicle is this. It's not one pedal driving. That's a proprietary thing that some of the other manufacturers use. Essentially, it's one pedal driving on a Toyota configuration that gives you the ability to have way more regeneration naturally so that the drive motors of this vehicle recapture all the energy they possibly can where they're not pushing the car forward. So that being said, yeah, we're going to take this for a quick drive. I'm going to go up some hills, down some hills, see how it performs. And we're actually going to take it somewhere, see if we can't find a public charging station and make a fool of myself walking us through that the first time. It'll be interesting. So away we go. So the one pedal driving, for lack of a better term, that I'm going to keep using, when you let off the gas at fairly high speeds, you feel the vehicle hold back naturally. And so when I take my foot off the accelerator here at about 60 kilometers an hour, it slows me down really quickly. So Toyota, in their wisdom, God bless them and their safety-minded way of doing things, is the minute you have your essentially regenerative braking turned on or one pedal driving turned on, this vehicle by default puts on your brake lights. So the minute I take my foot off the accelerator, the brake lights come on. There's a little visual indicator just up on the dash, right on the very bottom, that shows two little red insignia that basically let you know your brake lights are on, so that anyone behind you has been warned. So we're just going to cruise through here. We're about to come up to a stoplight. You know, we're cruising along, car's really quiet. We have good quality mics we're using here, but the level of noise in this vehicle for the size and configuration is really impressive. I really do like that part of it. Here we go. We're just going to go through traffic. Try not to get rear-ended. So the car in front of me is stopping because we're at a red light. I'm not touching the brakes. We're decelerating fairly quickly. And if the regenerative braking system is not meant to stop you in a Toyota, they really do want this vehicle to be used like a normal car. And one of the downsides to some of the one pedal driving systems that the other manufacturers are using is that unless you're physically using your brakes periodically, and you don't do brake service, especially in our climate, brake service is really important. But if you're not doing brake service on your electric vehicle and you're not using the brakes, you're just using your regenerative braking, then your brake seize up. So Toyota, in their wisdom to keep the customers happier longer, they have defaulted to the point, this feature it's not meant to stop the car. So that every time you stop, your physical brakes work. So that they're being exercised all the time. It's like using a muscle. If you stop using it, it atrophies. So in this case, your brakes will deteriorate over time due to lack of use as opposed to overuse. Level of comfort is good. Visibility in this vehicle is really impressive. I really do like it. You've got very few blind spots. Normally my daily driver is a 2016 RAV4 Hybrid Limited, and it has all the tech that was available in 2016, but it is an antique compared to this. Is that as I drive down this road and both lines are very visible, the car essentially will drive itself. I'm not recommending you do that, and the cameraman behind me will scream if I do it for long. But this vehicle will essentially drive itself if you give it the option to, especially with the radar cruise control on, is it'll keep you at a set distance from the vehicle in front of you. It'll stay within the line. So when you're driving, it is really comfortable, quiet. The inputs as a driver are very minimal. It's just an easy, comfortable car to drive. So we're going to go up here a little further. Essentially our range, just because of the way we're driving using the regenerative braking, when we originally turned this vehicle on and started driving a couple kilometers ago, it told us we had a range of 214 kilometers. We are now sitting at 216 kilometers, and clearly the car is not plugged in. So just the nature of the terrain we're driving on, even though we're driving at the speed limit, we've actually charged the battery as we were driving just due to the geography of where we are. So I'm about to go up a fairly steep hill. I'm going to step on it and you can feel the acceleration. It is impressive. So I'm going up a hill, and in a couple of car lengths, I went from 0 to almost 80 kilometers an hour with no effort. So the power that this vehicle puts out, when you're used to your conventional hybrids or even our gas engine vehicles, you would have to put your foot to the floor and hang on to get that kind of acceleration in any of our other platforms. So the power available on this EV are pretty impressive. The dash on this vehicle is well laid out. It is kind of cockpit-like, which I do like. Nice large display, gives you the visuals of all your settings, your heated steering wheel, your heated seats, your fan controls, audio, everything's here really well laid out. It very much feels like a Toyota, and that's the comfort level that our customers who have seen this vehicle, and some of them have sat in it and taken for a drive, is that a lot of people are scared of this technology because they think it's a spaceship, because that's what they've been introduced to so far. This particular vehicle is not a spaceship. It feels like a Toyota. It feels something like half RAV4, half Venza. It's more comfortable than the RAV4, but it's also sportier and more performance-based than the Venza is. So we're going to go up. This is a very long drag up here. It's all uphill for, I'm going to guess, about 3.5 kilometers. You are seeing our range dropping a little bit, but it's not crazy considering I am doing the speed limit. I'm going 80 kilometers an hour up this hill, or a little more. That's one thing. The cheater system, the camera in the forward looking here is showing that I'm actually speeding. The speed limit is 80, I'm going 83. So it turns the speed red when you're cheating, or when you're speeding in this case. We're going to go up the steepest part of this hill, and I'm going to hypothetically break the law and see how it pulls going up over this clearance. So here we go. Okay, we're going up a very steep incline, and it hypothetically will go well up over 100 kilometers an hour with no effort, very comfortably. It doesn't really make any more noise. You get a little more road noise simply because you're going over more road. You get a little more wind noise because you're going through the wind a little more quickly. So I've got to say that for practical purposes, that is probably one of the smoothest, fastest trips up that hill I've ever made, and I've lived here a long time. So we're just going to pull off here and do a couple more little turnaround videos and see what we can see to show you, the consumer, about this car. So here we are at the driver's side of the BZ4X. Again, this is a Toyota. It looks, sounds, and feels like one. Window switches are the same configuration they've been on a lot of our product. Mirror controls are here. Automatic headlight switch is exactly where I'd expect it to be. The rear hatch switch button for opening and closing the rear hatch, normal positioning. Auto headlights is a standard feature on most of our vehicles, including this one. This particular model still has a manual seat. Toyota has been diligent at trying to keep the price point of these EVs as reasonable as possible. And for the 2025 model, even the top trim that this vehicle is, it does not have a power driver's seat. So they are compromising on some of the features on these vehicles. No leather seating either. This is a lovely seat. It's certainly not an issue. It's not a quality issue, but in an effort to keep the price down, they have limited some of the features they put in these vehicles as a worldwide platform. That we do expect some changes in 26 on this platform. It'll have considerably more range. It'll gain almost 100 kilometers in range for the 26 over the 25. My understanding is we're going to be about 100 horsepower more. Based on the performance that I've seen on this car as I've driven it, I can't imagine what we need another 100 horsepower for. But anyone who's driven it is pretty impressed. And if nothing else, the efficiency of those vehicles, as the power coefficient goes up, their regenerative braking also gets a little stronger too. So yeah, you pick up power on one side, you also pick up the capacity to have regenerative braking and capture more energy on the other side. So I'm gonna pop up here in the driver's seat, close that door. And again, this is a little different steering wheel. The layout and the configuration of the steering wheel is, as we're all familiar with their Toyotas. Nothing changed here. Cruise is where you expect it to be, the hands-free, everything else here is fine and laid out the way we're used to. The biggest difference I see is this cockpit feel of the display for the driver and my gauges. Again, I can toggle through and change the configuration of these in several different fashions. The layout, I can make it minimalist, I can make it give me a lot more data, it can tell me a whole bunch of things and we can change that. I really do like the layout of this. Its simplicity is there, the displays are nice and bright, really impressed. As far as creature comforts, here for the driver and passenger, we've got an old school conventional 12 volt, 120 watt charging port. We've got a USB-C on my side, and on the passenger side, we have another USB-C. And this open console really does feel like our Sienna, is that they, instead of having just bulky space in here, because this is a shift-by-wire, drive-by-wire system, they don't need any mechanical linkages between the shifter, which is a new offering for us, and the drive line, because it's all driven by wire. So this is a little different. It's a much cleaner look, and I really like this high gloss piano finish with a little bit of transparency. Toyota has put a wireless IQ charger in there, and the intention is you pair your smart device with this vehicle, you let the technology do what it's supposed to, you put your phone away. It eliminates the temptation of you picking up the device and not letting the software do what it's supposed to as far as safety features, to make sure that we're not wasting time and looking at our phones. You're not really wasting time, you're wasting your life expectancy is what you're doing based on what we see on the roads. So layout here, the switches are here very clear. All this very, very much feels like Toyota. You still get the heated cowling in the front where your wipers park. Here's something that's a little different. The heated seats, they also get a radiant heat down here for the driver and passenger. Because this is an electric vehicle, is that we are expending energy as we heat and cool this car. It has to come from the battery. That is our only energy source. So what they have done is that they put radiant heat in down here to keep your legs warm, as well as giving you the heat pump that'll generate heat to heat the cabin air as well. There are some tricks to preheating this vehicle, when to heat it in the mornings in the winter. There's a bunch of lifestyle learning features on this that are very simple, that will make complete sense once the salesperson explains you how they work. But some of the idiosyncrasies of driving an electric car in a Canadian winter, they've already made up for. That radiant heating and an excellent heated seat. Now, I have turned them on. I'm definitely not turning them on now because I'm barely able to stop sweating with the AC on as we speak. So heated steering wheel, again, way more of this steering wheel is heated than on previous generations. And we still do have analog buttons. So if you want to eliminate the touchscreen and you're not comfortable with it, you can still do audio up, audio down, change your frequencies, change the channels on the radio, everything here off the steering wheel if you don't like the touchscreen. So overall, interesting fit and finish is that you do have a fiber dash on this vehicle, which is unusual. If it's based on everybody driving this car, it's staying clean. I don't see any issues with that. Rearview mirror, everything else is very straightforward. Our SOS system for safety is as it is in our RAV4s. Cup holders, here we go. So this is my giant Toyota water bottle. And if you work for them for 10 years and give them your life and your soul, they will give you one of these. So good luck with that. So good big cup holders. That big bottle will fit in here. And because of the figuration, configuration, even a coffee cup that has a handle will, at least one will fit in this. So you can open and close that, which I didn't know. That was a discovery I just made by accident as I tried to open it. There is a switch I found. And oh, look, there's someone's sunglasses. Again, staff are driving this car. We're using real world experiences. So nice big armrest and storage, very much like the RAV4, Venza, any of our other larger SUVs. Good practical space. I do like the ability to cover up those cups and just give a little longer armrest if your body is different than mine is, many will be. So yeah, very good usable space here. I have also spent some time there. Passenger space and usability is really impressive. So I can ramble on for hours, as you know, so I'm gonna cut this one short and we're gonna attempt to go find some public chargers just to show you how easy, difficult, and interesting this process can be. Okay, let's go on to the next destination. So here we are, we're up at the top of the same mountain we just came up, and we're going to go down. So it's currently telling me we've got a range of 205, 204 kilometers. I'll get it up to a reasonable speed. I'll let it naturally get up to about 70. And then I will take my foot off and we'll see how the regenerative braking holds us back and what it does to our overall range. So there we are at 70, I take my foot off. Oh, and immediately we start slowing down aggressively. Okay, that's shocking. Okay, so I actually do have to keep my foot off of or on the accelerator so that we do accelerate. We're still regenerating. We're in the charge mode. The indicator is showing a charge. We're going down the mountain at about 80 kilometers an hour. I'm going to let off the accelerator to not go too much over 80. We're still over 80. We're generating lots of charge. I've got to say, there's some pretty good corners on this hill, and it is glued to the road because of the weight of the car. As I said, there's quite a decline here, and we're still showing charging the whole way. We are at or slightly above the speed limit, headed down here. Very cool. So we get up to 207 before we actually flatten out on this hill. Again, we're still going a little bit north of the speed limit at 80, and we picked up a couple kilometers there pretty quickly, which is kind of interesting. The weight of this car does really help in those situations, so you are able to charge battery, pick up a little momentum, and not just drive slowly. But I've got to say, I was quite surprised at how vigorously the car will hold back in the regenerative mode to give me the resistance I was looking for. You charge the battery like crazy, but you could potentially come down that grade at 15 kilometers an hour and somebody will rear end you at that point. So you have to use practicality in the way you use some of this regenerative braking on this vehicle. So I'm about to turn this off, and I've got to say, Toyota's training on this particular platform, they have gone head and shoulders above anything I've experienced. I'm about to roll into my 10th year with Toyota Canada. I've gone through most of the training process and modules and all that good stuff. And the training on this has been exceptional. So my co-pilot will probably realize that I have turned off the regenerative braking at this point. I'm going to turn it right back on and you'll realize that it's going to slow us down very quickly. What I really respected is that the trainers who have been driving these vehicles for a couple of years now, who live in a province that has wholly adopted battery electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles more so than the rest of the country. And one of the questions that one of the trainers gave to the crowd in this training session was, how do you like the regenerative braking? And it was a mixed response. I've been driving hybrids now for 15 years almost, and I drive my car to get great fuel economy because I've trained myself to do that. So in that crowd of approximately 30 Toyota staff being trained, about a third of us put our hands up and said we liked it, we liked that feature, it was an interesting feature we enjoyed. The rest of the crowd was mixed, and a bunch of them clearly put their hands up and said, look, I have no interest in that, I hate it. And the trainer came to the table and said, I hate it too. A little older than I am, a little different experience in driving as he's grown through the years and different vehicle platforms, but he absolutely said he despised the regenerative braking. So I appreciate his candor that he was honestly saying, I don't like it. I understand it, I think it works great, I just physically do not like the feeling of how it works, whereas I do. So it is a very different way that you can turn off. And realistically, for the average driver around in our market, if you drive around with the regenerative braking on, you may pick up an extra 40 kilometers per charge versus someone who doesn't use it. But it does change your driving experience quite a bit. The assumed drawback to driving this lovely electric vehicle is, if I'm going anywhere, how do I charge this thing? How long does it take? What does it cost? I don't know any of those questions because I have taken this home and charged it. We charge it at our dealership. And again, the intention from Toyota and most of the EV manufacturers is they expect you, the consumer, to be doing most of your charging your vehicle at home in off hours. So you're on the road, you're 2.5 hours away from home, your car's down to 15% charge. Don't push your luck. So what do? You come to your local EV station. I knew this one was here, but there are several apps that I've downloaded on my phone that show me my community and where there are chargers. There's chargers all over the place if you're looking for them. But the easiest and most natural place for you to go is a service station. Now, a lot of the Petrocans, a lot of the Irvings have these charging systems set up. So I'm going to be the guinea pig. I'm going to make some mistakes here, but this is not rocket science, and I am an average Joe with a phone. So I arrived and I already realized I'm not ready to do this. But Irving, God bless them, gave me a QR code. There is the QR code. Sure enough, my phone goes on, tells me to install the Irving EV app. So I hit the install button. So now I open the app. It's going to ask me a whole bunch of questions, ask me for a blood sample, and away we go. Thank God for us being able to edit, because between the explicatives and the profanity and everything else, that was a process that you should do at home when you're seated comfortably, not in panic mode with your family watching you figure out how to get the app. So app is self-explanatory, but you do need to set up an account. You do need to attach a credit card. You do not need to have particularly gummy thumbs trying to type on your phone when you're in a hurry. So we are currently in business. So I pulled one of these cords. Wow, this weighs about 300 pounds. That's surprising in itself. I walk over to said EV. I open the door. I plug it in, unlock the door, make sure this corresponds. Oh, there's two doors. I'll unlock them both. And then it uses both hands because it's heavy. And it locks in place. The little light didn't turn green. So again, learning curve is pretty steep today. We plugged it in, nothing happened because I didn't read the instructions. The instructions say download the app, all good. Connect to the charging cable, we got that part done. Select charger and swipe your card. So it's asking me to do it. I go confirm and hold this to the reader. You're allowed to start charging. Okay, that actually worked. I just got a notification. They essentially just preloaded my card with electricity, preparing your charge. So essentially it's setting up everything between the charger and the car, and it's about to start charging. Now, there are a couple of things as this is doing what it's doing. Okay, there we go. It tells me that my current battery is at 61% charge and that it is now charging my vehicle, and I can see the little light on my car is charging. That's great. So that's working. Some etiquette with charging that we've learned about, some by accident and some by training, is that there's a finite amount of power here, much as there is at the gas pumps at this service station. And if you've ever been at a service station and you're filling away and your car is going along great and it's putting in gas like nobody's business, and somebody comes up and takes the hose on the other end of the same pump, and you realize that, hey, my filling just slowed down. This is exactly the same thing. So if I'm charging here and somebody pulls up beside me and they plug into the same charger, my charge will go upwards of half. So instead of it taking me, 15 minutes to get the charge I want, it may take 30 minutes. So some of the etiquette in charging is don't pull up to the same charger if there's multiples available in a charge situation. Is that if somebody pulls up and hooks up beside me, don't be a wiener and go slow somebody else's charge down. So planning is the biggest thing. Is if you're going to be away from home, charging away from home, be prepared for this. Have a couple of different pay sites already on your phone. There's a couple different providers. Just install the apps, have them ready, have them connected to your credit card and ready to go. This is, based on our experience, not an expensive way to charge your vehicle compared to a gas pump, but it's considerably more expensive than charging at home. Is that this is the convenience of this you are paying for. And again, a lot of the high voltage chargers, if you're here more than you need to be and you're trying to go above 80% charge, A, this will slow down, and B, your cost per kilowatt hour will go through the roof. So it's not meant to come here and get 100% charge. Is that if you do that, it will cost you more per kilometer than you're expecting. So here we are. About 2 minutes in, I'm $1.25 out of pocket. We've come up 2% so far. I'm just gonna let it run for a few minutes and we'll come back and see how it went. So here we are, we're 6 minutes in. We've spent $3 whole. We're up to almost 70%. So process is, shut it off. So I hit the stop button. It says it's stopping, all good there. Charge port is stopped, okay, perfect. It's not gonna bill me. My phone just notified me also that I got billed. My phone just beeped in my pocket. Okay, so walk back over to your vehicle. Okay, this thing is very heavy. Pull the cord back, put it back where I found it, and away we go. So overall positive experience with some editing. So we'll go back to the dealership and do a little finish up on this one and call it a day. So as you can see, there's a lot going on with the new electric vehicle platform that Toyota has introduced. We're pretty excited about it. Again, Toyota is doubling down on the training for the staff so that we can help you in the process of considering one of these. This vehicle is not for everybody, but a lot of us could very easily live with a fully electric Toyota. If you're already a Toyota fan, then obviously you're going to recognize the product. You're going to feel like another Toyota. It's just a matter of choosing which one's for you. So fall 2025, we're going to get the 26 models. We're going to get the BZ, which is a newer version of this with some more features, longer range, faster charging. We're also going to get the Woodlands edition, which is a larger version of the same platform that is a little more outdoorsy and a little more rugged. We're really looking forward to that. And then the last on the list will be the Toyota CHR is coming back. We lost that vehicle a few years ago as a gas platform. Comes back as a fully electric vehicle for 2026, and we're really looking forward to that. It should have lots of interesting features, great body lines, lots of power, and great range. So I'm Randy at Kentville Toyota. I really appreciate your time today talking about the electric vehicles. Please come on in and see us, ask questions on the YouTube channel, subscribe, all the things that people ask you to do, which I can't remember to ask you to do. Please do those things, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Hey folks, it's Randy from Kentville Toyota, and today we're going to talk about this new 2025 Toyota Prius Limited all-wheel drive. So it's strange enough, this vehicle, we were planning on doing this video a couple of days ago. This car was spick and span and clean, but where we live, we have a bit of pollen. So the car's got a lovely yellowy brown patina on it covered in pollen. But anyway, I swear it's a new car and it doesn't always look like this. So this is the front of the 2025 Prius. This is a limited package. So LED headlights, standard feature on this trim. Tow hook is behind there just in case you do go off the road. That is a good safe place for someone to help you get back on the road. Lots of sensors. Forward facing sonar is for park assist on this vehicle. You also have a host of cameras and other safety features in the windshield of this vehicle that gives you frontal collision avoidance, your radar cruise control, proximity sensors. All that stuff is part of the safety features of this vehicle. As we come around this side, again, nice. This is a pearl white finish, which we really like on most of the Toyota products. It's a common color for us on our upper trims. So here we are at the driver's side of the 2025 Prius. Again, sonar sensor here on the front side. Nice contrast. You get the high gloss wheel arch covers on this trim of the vehicle. It goes well with the nice. You get a nice body offset. A big 18-inch wheel. Great ride quality, good fuel economy, and it visually looks really good on this vehicle. High gloss wheel arches matched to the high gloss mirror. So the black and white, all the black features, well, not all the black features, but these black features are high gloss and they go nicely with the contrast of the vehicle. Because this is a Toyota and they've been doing this for a long time, you can lock and unlock your doors as long as your key is with you just by swiping on the door. The all-wheel drive signia on the lower fascia of the door, just letting you know this is the all-wheel drive version, not the plug-in version, or the last year it was called a Prius Prime, this year it's just called a plug-in Prius. So as you come back here a little further on the vehicle, you can see another high gloss feature on the black between the dividers of the windows, and as with all Priuses, the rear door handle is hidden, and it's up here in the latch system. And again, there's also a mechanical unlock there in case the battery is dead or when the battery is dead. You can depress this and unlock the door mechanically there because this is an electric switch and that is a mechanical switch. So as I said before, locking gas cover standard on all of our hybrid products, this one included. And again, we come back around to the rear, another high gloss accent next to the reflector, and sonar there again. So let's come around to the back. We'll have a quick look at the hatch, look at the space and configuration. So here we are at the back of the 2025 Prius. Again, limited trim, lots of sensors in the rear for safety, for your backup. You're also, this particular trim level has the digital rear camera. On the inside, it's really impressive. Obviously, we can't see it here. I'm not sure why I'm talking about it, but here we are. So, power hatch on this particular trim. Single touch, away you go as long as the vehicle's unlocked, the key's with you. So really high angles. This opens up wide open for easy access, gets completely up and out of your way, which is nice. Comes standard with both carpeted and a rubber mat. And there is no spare tire in the Prius product. They're trying to keep the weight down. There is a repair kit that comes within this vehicle. Surprisingly nice high floor. It's easy access for groceries and things in and out. A lot of people will take this out, but it is a safety feature so that people cannot see the packages that are in the rear hatch of the vehicle. So up here, Toyota has changed for 2025 for most of our product. They've added this lovely button, which is close and lock. It used to be that you would close the gate, walk away, and you'd be constantly clicking your key fob trying to lock the car as you moved away. On this one, you should be able to press this, it'll close and lock. But of course it's not going to work because the key is in the car. If the key wasn't in the car, that would have worked flawlessly and it would have looked like this, worked properly, and then you would have heard it beep again when it locked, but I didn't set this up right, so it didn't work right. But anyway, it makes for an entertaining walk around. So we're gonna have a look at some of the features on the inside of the car and see what we can find. So here we are at the driver's door of the 2025 Prius all-wheel drive. This is not the plug-in version, that's why I didn't call it a plug-in version. And because it is a limited trim, it does have programmable both seat and power steering wheel for program 1 and B. Yes, 1 and 2, or A and B, take your pick. They say 1 and 2, so that two different drivers can pre-program the seating position and the angle of the steering wheel, the depth of the steering wheel on your own. So, as with all Toyotas, as the hybrid, you do have a locked gas door here. There's the unlock. There's the switch for the power gate. It does have automatic headlights, heated steering wheel, as well as the heated cowling down where your wipers park. Toyota's been adding that to most of our vehicles for well over a decade now, and it's a lovely feature in our slushy, sloppy springs and falls. So I'm gonna hop in the driver's seat and show you a few features and just see the overall layout of the car. Okay, so I'm going to close this just to get rid of some glare. So I'm just going to start this vehicle because it's about 1,000 degrees out right now. I know that dinging is going to drive you guys crazy, but I'm just going to ignore it for a second. So the layout of this vehicle is very similar to the new BZ4X that I've been driving a fair bit over the last couple of days. A little smaller steering wheel, very compact. Oops, don't need the music, although it's very lovely. The layout is virtually identical. Your cruise control is here on the right, the audio controls and the display controls are here on the left. The biggest thing that I see on this vehicle compared to the previous generation and what is really similar to the BZ or our fully electric platform is the new display. That display, the position of it, it's almost like having a heads-up display on your vehicle, except it's physical. So it's lots of data there, lots of different configurations available for you to see, the layout of the car. There's all kinds of information to be had. So on these controls, the cooled seat is currently turned on because it's really hot, and I'm really enjoying the cooled seat here because it's so hot today. The front defrost, rear defrost, very typical for all Toyotas and most manufacturers. AC is very self-explanatory. The location of the vent grills on this one is nice. It's all below the displays. Gives you lots of opportunity for air circulation. Very happy with that. One of the big things that I see in this vehicle is this magical rear view camera that turns into your rear view mirror. So right now there's nothing behind us, but I can put objects in the rear of this car, and the visibility of the view through this vehicle, if it were full or if there's somebody behind you, is exceptional. I've got to say that is the best quality rear view camera that I've seen in any of our vehicles so far. Pretty happy with it. Generally, the layout here, very Toyota. This is the new control panel that is on all the Priuses. Again, very similar to the newer products that are coming in our EV lines, and our new hybrid lines will all be very similar to this in layout. The next generation, you're actually going to lose this shifter and it becomes a drive-by-wire and all push button. There are two well-powered USB-Cs here, plus an old-school conventional 12-volt port. Different drive modes are all controlled here on the console, both EV mode, your park brake hold, all the control modules are here. And this is a lovely vertical wireless IQ charger, which they've added to this generation of the car. Has an on-off switch. When I traditionally drive this vehicle or one like this, I will use that just to hold my phone, let alone whether it's charging or not. The previous generation, the charging was up here, worked great. Wasn't quite as secure. Is that your phone tend to bounce around a little bit, and you could lose your phone in some situations. So this actually keeps it more secure. You know where it is, and again, you're not prone to look at it because the screen is hidden from view. So I've got the seat set here for me. Again, I'm 5'10". I have an unusually long torso and shorter legs for someone who's my height. So I've got this set for me, again, short legged. I'm gonna go sit in the back seat, see what the leg room is like. The last time I was in one of these Priuses, I think it was a Prime, I did find it a little tight, but this is a different model year, so let's compare. Let's go have a look back there. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna approach from the side, hop in. Okay. And again, this seat is really comfortable. This is not a complaint about the seat. This is obviously it's a true leather interior because this is a limited trim. Now these are heated leather seats, which is lovely. There's two nice USB-C charging ports down there. Lovely feature. Not sure why there's only one pocket, but there's only a pocket on the passenger side, not on the driver's side. There's probably some fabulous engineering reason that there's none here, but I don't know what it might be, but I could make something up, but that would not be helpful. So it is comfortable here, but again, at my height and my thinning hair is still touching the roof. If I were any taller than I am now, again, long torso, so the average 6-foot human would probably be able to sit here quite comfortably. But if you had a fedora on or some sort of a large hat, big hair, it might be irritating because I don't like my head touching things while I'm in here. But again, great seating quality. It's very comfortable. But I think I would find me slouching like this if I needed to drive a long distance, and that wouldn't be good for my back, and people would think I was being an idiot. So I wouldn't do that. Yeah, so armrest, self-explanatory, 2 cup holders, very good there. No real cup holders in the passenger side door. Not really. There is a storage pouch there, but I wouldn't call it a cup holder. And what I do like to see is these are both heated seats. So both passengers in the rear do get heated seats. Not cooled, but heated. So overall, short, if I was in here for an hour, no problem. I wouldn't want to be in here for 2 or 3 hours. You'd need to do some roulette as far as moving people around for comfort. But the seat itself is very comfortable. Again, lots of leg room for me. Again, shorter legs, both for the driver and the rear passenger that's set for me. So pretty good layout. But again, low roof line here gives you quite a high window height. Again, doesn't feel claustrophobic or anything. It's nice and bright. The cabin is extremely bright with that panoramic roof. So overall the layout is good, but for me, long-term travel as a rear passenger in this vehicle would not be ideal. But again, the average consumer is buying Prius. It's 2 or 3 individuals, or mom and dad and the kids, or whatever. So yeah. We're going to do something a little different today than our normal process has been in the past. We're actually going to do some driving. We're doing this during daylight hours. We actually have some inventory here at Kentville Toyota now, which is fantastic because we've been years with no cars. So we're going to do some driving. Some of the things that I'm experiencing right now, aside from traffic being a little goofy, is I have the cooled seats on, and I've got to say, I love cooled seats. It's one of my favorite features on the vehicle. I run hot. I can start sweating anything over 10 degrees Celsius. So this to me is a dream. Feels really comfy. We just pulled out of our driveway. I've got to say, the power here is really exceptional. Again, this is not the plug-in version. This is the all-wheel drive version, so it does have Toyota's latest version of the all-wheel drive system on this car as a 2025. As I say, the cooled seats are on. We have just done, depending on how you see the sequence of these videos, we've just done a video on the new 2025 BZ4X. And I've got to say, the driving position here, the quality and comfort of this seat, and the layout of my steering wheel and the display in front of me very much mirrors the BZ that I just drove not too long ago. And that is a good piece of feedback, because I really enjoyed that car. So yeah, we're going to go up on the highway. We're going to just experience life the way anybody else would with this vehicle. It feels like my heated steering wheel is turned on, which is counterproductive to say the least today. So I'm going to figure out how to turn that off. Yeah, maybe it's not turned on, but it's nice and warm. Okay, so on the on-ramp, there's lots of traffic around. I'm going to look for a hole in the traffic, and then I'm going to get into it. And guess what? This car has lots and lots of power. So no problem to get up to speed and merge in heavy traffic. Very pleasantly surprised with the power this car has, to say the least. I see that it already is defaulted to eco mode. So most of our hybrids, plug-in and otherwise, have 3 drive modes in all the vehicles. First being eco, makes the car a little sluggish, I guess is the way you would describe it. But again, this vehicle in eco mode is far from sluggish, lots of power here. This is Toyota's latest 2-liter hybrid drive system compared with the all-wheel drive all-wheel drive system. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. Feature-wise, this top trim, I have a digital rear view mirror. So again, I know you folks can't see this, but there is somebody behind me with a camera, and because of the digital rear view mirror, he currently does not exist. I just see the vehicle that is behind me. Now, I can turn that feature off so that I can actually see who or what is behind me in the rear seat. But in this case, it works really well. I got great visibility to the back. That's all good. Yeah, I'm really pleasantly surprised. We do have radar cruise control. We've got all the latest features, the safety features on this vehicle. So it has lane departure assist. It has the frontal collision avoidance, radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring. This one actually has rear cross traffic alert. So not that I'm going to put it into reverse while we're on the highway, but when you put this vehicle in reverse and it detects anyone or anything moving behind you, it will give you an audible warning and preload the brakes for safety, so that if you do react in time, the brakes are ready for you, and as soon as you touch that pedal, you're going to stop, and it will be abrupt and it'll be safe. But if you are distracted or for any reason you're unable to get your foot onto the brake pedal the way you otherwise should, this vehicle will actually stop, as opposed to let you to back over someone, back in someone's path of traffic. So great safety feature is a standard feature on this trim of the 2025 Prius. Yeah, layout-wise, I'm still loving these cooled seats. This particular vehicle has programmable seating and power steering. So now that I am configured the way I would want it to be for driving, I can then program the seat and the steering wheel to return to this position for me every time I get in. And again, it's 2 presets. So for two drivers can preset all the configuration for this vehicle on the door. Really nice feature. Been standard on most of our top trims now for years with the Toyota platform. The audio controls, the climate control on this vehicle, again, typically Toyota. This particular vehicle, again, heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooled seats, leather seating surfaces, which is actually truly leather, which is nice. And above us, we have a beautiful panoramic roof. So as you can see, I'm not looking at the camera much because we're actually in real world traffic, and we take that seriously. So again, back to the newer configuration of Toyota product with the forward sensing camera. This vehicle can see that we're on a 100 series highway, that there is a preset speed limit of 100 kilometers an hour. And because I am marginally above that, it is reflecting the road speed to me and actually showing that it's in red because I'm actually exceeding the speed limit by a little bit, but that's the speed the traffic is going, and to drive slower is probably not any safer than we're going right now. So from what I can easily see, we have 2 USB charging ports right here to my right, and my phone is currently in the wireless charger, which I do like. Some vehicles do not have an on-off switch on the wireless charging. This particular vehicle does. So if you're someone who's really finicky about how and when they charge their phone or the smart device, this one does have the on-off switch, and currently it's on. Everything's charging nicely. And I will say it is a quick charging platform, because when I dropped my phone in here a couple minutes ago, I checked the status, and a few minutes later I checked it again, and it has picked up almost 10% charge in 10 minutes on my particular device, which is pretty impressive. Some of the previous generation of the IQ wireless chargers that were laid flat, they worked fine. A, they were not as quick as this, and B, that flat surface that you were charging your phone on can be problematic if you're cornering rough terrain, is that the phone tend to bounce around and could physically, leave its station in some situations. This is a vertical as opposed to horizontal deck where your phone sits. Works great. It's secure in there. Really easy to get around. So again, on the controls of this vehicle, as I say, we're currently in eco mode. I can put it in normal mode, custom, or sport. Sport literally changes the performance of this car in the fact that it makes the throttle way more responsive. Regenerative braking is a little more aggressive. Everything is just set at a higher state of awareness, so the vehicle actually responds quicker, and again, your energy efficiency will go down. Normally with the Toyota product, the differences between the eco, the normal, and the sport mode, if normal gives you 95% of the fuel efficiency that the vehicle is capable of, then it will keep you in that mode, no problem. In that range. Let's go back and use the English language properly. So it will keep you in that range where you want it to be. If you go in sport mode, your fuel efficiency will go down, the fun of driving goes up, and everything it's directly correlated. The more fun it is, the more fuel you're burning. So if we go back to eco mode, car is still very responsive, works great, but in general you will pick up probably an extra 3 to 5% fuel efficiency by toggling between normal and eco versus going from normal to sport. Lose a little on the sport, gain a little on the eco, whichever makes you happy. Again, this vehicle is incredibly good on fuel, and no matter how you drive, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. As I traditionally do in these videos, I'm going to attempt to open the hood on this vehicle and embarrass myself of it taking longer than it should, or pinching my fingers, or all the silly things that I can do doing this. This is actually running because we have the air conditioning running because it's so bloody hot here today. So this vehicle, again, it has a prop rod, no hydraulic cylinders holding it up. And this is a running 2025 Prius. So right now the fans are running, the air conditioning is running, so it's all running on full electric at this point. Is that there is no gas engine actually turning over at this point. Everything that you're hearing is coming from the electrical system. So this is our conventional 2-liter hybrid drive connected to the eCVT, and this one is an all-wheel drive to boot. So normal things that consumers can see: coolant for expansion tank for the regular radiator, coolant for the expansion tank for the inverter on this vehicle because it does go from high voltage to low voltage in the system, and washer fluid. There's probably a dipstick here somewhere. There it is. Aside from me being a dipstick, that is the dipstick to change your oil. Check your oil, not change your oil. And again, technicians are going to play under there most of the time anyway. So yeah, that is the drivetrain of the 2025 Prius non-plug-in hybrid. So I'm Randy at Kentville Toyota. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've gotten something useful out of this and that you are entertained if nothing else. Thanks. Watch, subscribe, send comments, anything you want. Thanks again. Hi, I'm Randy at Kentville Toyota, and today we're going to talk about the 2024 Toyota Sienna LE all-wheel drive. Let's have a look. So we're going to start at the front of the vehicle. This is, for all intents and purposes, a minivan. Don't take this the wrong way. This is a fantastic vehicle, but me getting excited about the front of this is a bit of a stretch. I know the headlights are fantastic. I did have the pleasure of driving one of these. Great visibility. Because this is an LE, there are no fog lights. There are cutouts for fog lights. Big open grille. Not a lot to say aside from it's a Toyota hybrid and it's white, and there's not a lot up here to talk about. So let's go down the side and see if we can find anything that is worth talking about, shall we? So on the side of this Sienna, because this is the entry-level trim, this does come with a 17-inch wheel and tire package. Again, on the upper trims, you can go all the way up to a 19-inch wheel and tire package. As for usual, you can always go down to the smaller size for winter wheels and tires if you choose to do so. So locking wheel nuts, standard feature. That's just security features on most of our Toyotas now. Come down this side. Things that I noticed that are different from other vehicles of this generation. The entry-level Sienna does not have the turn indicator on the mirror, which I expected, but clearly not there. It does still have the blind spot monitoring indicator on the mirror, as it should. And this clearly denotes it has heated mirrors, which is really nice on those frosty mornings for keeping these clear with you having to scratch at them or scrape at them. It's all good. This vehicle, even though it does come with an intelligent key, they come with a physical key inside. So if this is dead, you can still get inside the vehicle with the keyhole in the driver's door. Nice feature on any of the vehicles because these will eventually die. You can still start the vehicle, but it's also nice to get inside. So as we come down here a little further, because this is a van, you have this magical thing here, a power door. So dual power doors, and the key actually gives you remote controls for both doors simultaneously on the key fobs. You can open these from the interior of the van. You can open them from the exterior on the doors, from both sides. So good open space here. We'll come back and show you the interior of the vehicle in a second. I just wanted to go down the exterior of the vehicle and just show you the features of anything of any interest. The standard feature on this LE all-wheel drive version of the van are the roof rails. So standard feature, so that you can put crossbars on to carry extra cargo, toolie, skis, bike racks, whatever you need. Put your kayak on the roof. And again, because this is a Toyota hybrid system, locking gas door, the release is on the interior. Back here, I do kind of like the way the rear taillights do wrap around the vehicle. This is kind of reminiscent of the front of a lot of our trucks and everything. You do get this angular look of the taillights. So aside from that, let's have a look at the back of the vehicle, shall we? So here we are back around the back of the vehicle. So as it is with most of our vehicles, they have the rear hatch. The release button's right there. This is not a power hatch. This has a hydraulic assist, as you would expect with the base RAV4s, and a lot of our baser vehicles do have the assist, but it's not a power hatch. So because this is an 8-seater, the 3 seats can either be stowed in the floor, or if they're up in a usable position, it gives you a great big deep well for groceries, camping gear, anything you want. And again, these can be stowed as they are with most vehicles in a 60-40 configuration. So you can put 2 seats away, or you can put 1 seat away to get more storage or more people space. So here we are, we're gonna come in from the driver's side and see how this feels. I've got to say, I am not by any stretch a minivan enthusiast, but I've got to say, this is pretty cool. I like this. There's a ton of space here. It's kind of like a spaceship. There is storage everywhere. We've got 2 cup holders and another slot here. We've got 2 more cup holders. I've got spots for multiple water bottles and random storage on my door. There's little storage trays everywhere. I see my transmission selector, like on most Toyotas, EV drive modes, instead of being a dial, is buttons here, so you can go to EV mode. Your park brake controls there, that's all good. All the audio controls and everything, very standard. Your cruise control, all those interfaces are here. On the dash, I see a heated steering wheel, which is awesome for an entry-level vehicle, so it does come standard with the heated steering wheel. Gas door release. There's an interesting button. You can actually turn off the door controls so they will not work from the rear. So if you've got young people with you who you do not want jumping out in traffic, you can actually control the doors from up here and lock them. Huge cargo space here that has an old school USB charging port as well as a USB-C. So that's a nice combination of old and new. And down here, I don't know if you can see this or not, there's another entire level of storage with another 12-volt charge point down there that you could put an old school accessory in. Again, I hesitate to use the term, but a cigarette lighter style is what most of us are used to. Heated seats are standard. Audio controls are both on the big screen. So again, this vehicle also still comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay built in. Wow, there's a ton of space here. Gotta say, this is really comfortable. And right here behind my my armrest is 2 more charge points for USB conventional as well as USB-C. Yeah, this is really interesting. Huge cabin, feels like a ton of space. This seat is super comfortable. Again, it's a power seat, which I would not expect in an entry-level vehicle, but yeah, aside from leather seating and a few more bells and whistles, I'm really impressed with the trim of this vehicle for an LE all-wheel drive. And again, this is an 8-seater, so lots of different configurations available in the Sienna for this year. There's the LE base, which is the front-wheel drive. There's the all-wheel drive. There's an XLE, there's an XSE. There's from soup to nuts for trim, and 7 and 8 seat both configurations available, some with all-wheel drive, some with not. So you need to talk to one of the sales reps to figure out exactly which configuration meets your needs the best. Majority of our orders for these are all-wheel drive, so again, that's very subjective. That's up to you as a consumer, but it's nice for us to be able to offer both options for you as a buyer. So let's leave the seat where I'm comfortable. Again, I've got tons of space here. And let's come have a look in the back and see how it looks for space back here as well. So here we are at the back of the Sienna. Again, not that familiar with this, so bear with me. So I see that I have a huge track. Wow, that's impressive. So huge track on both sides. So these seats have got massive amounts of adjustability. I pull up here. Again, the driver's seat is set for me at about 5'10". I can't imagine how tall I would have to be not to be comfortable here. Still have great headroom, no issues there. I see cup holders in the floor. I see a little storage compartment. I've got USB charging. As a rear passenger, we have auto climate control. You've got fan controls, temperature up, down. You've got vent controls for letting fresh air in and out, both from the heating and the AC. You've got lighting that I guess I'm going to guess the van needs to be running for those to work, but you've got lighting back here for your rear passengers. This would be one of the seats that is, again, if you're going to punish someone who's over 10 years old, you probably want to put them here, but otherwise, a good, usable seat if you've got 8 people. Got to say, pretty impressed. Let's see how it happens here. So I close the door, so we got an automatic door. That's awesome. Big grab bar handles, speakers right here by your rear passengers. Window controls, and this is interesting. You have a built-in shade you can hook up here for privacy, light, the whole 9 yards. That's impressive. Again, entry-level van with this kind of features. I'm quite impressed, to tell you the truth. A ton of space here. Rear seating, again, with this seat forward, and I'll try and do this from here, and it'll be really awkward. So let's see how embarrassing this is. Okay, so that's all the way forward. I can't tip the seat ahead because I can't reach it. Well, maybe I can. Let's try again. There we go. So we have a nice open space for people to get into the rear seats. This track that I'm sort of sitting on now is all the way back. So again, lots of space for your rear passengers. I would be quite pleasantly surprised to take adults in this vehicle or a bunch of kids. Like, this really is a people mover. I've got to say, I'm way more impressed by this than I thought I would be, because again, I don't think of myself as a van person, but this is a super practical vehicle for the obvious purpose of moving people around comfortably. And one of the big advantages that I see of this, combined fuel economy on this all-wheel drive hybrid van for this year, 6.7 liters per 100. So load it with 8 people and all their stuff, and you can get that kind of fuel economy with this. Toyota should be really proud of this technology because this is really impressive. I've got to say, it caught my attention. I want to buy a van, but I can say that anybody who wants one, they're making a really good choice if this really meets your lifestyle and your needs. So let's go have a look under the hood as we normally do at the end of this walk around. So as I usually do, I'm going to pop the hood, see what's under there, and see what we can show you. Okay. So again, 2024 Sienna. I'm going to go fishing. Oh, I found it quickly that time. I'm feeling like a pro. So prop rod is easily found. So as you can see, the consumer buying this one saw the value in the undercoating. It's a gooey mess under here. But again, 2.5 liter Toyota hybrid drive combination. Again, combined fuel economy, 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers with an all-wheel drive. The usual things, as you can see as a consumer, your reservoir for your coolant, your reservoir for your washer fluid. Aside from that, there's the dipstick. I don't really know anything else about what's under here, but I know they're reliable. We've got a great 5-year, 100,000 kilometer powertrain warranty. You've got the hybrid warranty on the hybrid components that is up to 7 years, and the batteries in this vehicle are guaranteed for up to 200,000 kilometers or 8 years from Toyota Canada. So great package. Again, I'm looking under the hood, showing you things I don't know anything about, so I really have no business here. So let's wrap it up. I'm Randy at Kentville Toyota. Like and subscribe, leave comments underneath if you want to. Make fun of some of the things I've said. It's all good. Thanks very much.